Hi, I'm Gunnar, and if you're new to this channel, it's all about my journey from water sports athlete into the world of target archery. My goal is to become as good as possible, compete in national and regional events here in Spain and on the Canary Islands, and maybe internationally if I ever get good enough. So today I'm just going to talk about my bow. When I was deciding what bow to get, I really was looking at a really good entry-level value for money bow. And the one that really popped out was the PSE Lazer. This is the 2024 version. And I gotta say, I'm actually pretty happy with it. Obviously, I have not shot a lot of bows. This is the only compound I've shot. But in my experience, I've had very little trouble with it. Here in Europe, it costs about 750 euros. And I'm actually pretty impressed for what I got for this money. I come from a sport where equipment is in the thousands and thousands of euros, even for beginner equipment. So for me, having a decent archery bow for under 1,000 euros is pretty good. Obviously, what they don't tell you when you first start out is you're going to need quite a lot of accessories just to even start out to shoot. First of all, having a decent sight. The Avalon visor is about 50 euros. It's 150 euros for this visor. I spent a little bit more money on the rest. This is the Lazer Compound bow rest. That's about 170 euros. And I thought that would have been a good idea. After a couple of weeks of shooting, I decided I was ready for stabilizers. And then I got the Doinker Podium carbon stabilizers. So these were actually, again, really good value for money, I thought. They also look really cool, and they were actually really easy to set up, and they took a lot of vibration out of the bow. So if we talk a little bit about the bow itself, let's look at this basically as a beginner reviewing the bow for other beginners. So I'm not going to get into a lot of technical stuff. I'm just going to talk about my experience. The compound bows are actually a lot more heavy than I thought they would be. This is a couple of kilos of bow. I thought they would be much lighter, but yeah, it is quite handleable. And with the stabilizers on there, it was very balanced. I didn't have any problem setting it up. I watched a lot of YouTube videos on how to put in the peep, tie in the peep. As I come from kiting, tying knots and so on isn't really an issue for me, so that was quite easy. If you are not so versed in any of this stuff, you can always have your bow shop set this up. I don't have this luxury here on the Canary Islands because we don't have any bow shops here, so I don't have anybody to help me out, so I had to build my own bow press and set up everything myself. I do have to say there's one thing I sort of changed. I actually put in 7-ounce weight at the bottom here. This is something I actually saw Mike Schlosser do on his target bows. He's probably one of the best guys ever, and I thought, okay, it makes sense. And then I saw that the new Matthews target bow also has a weight at the bottom, and when I tried it, it became a lot more easy to aim the bow. Even without the stabilizers, it really brought the center of gravity low on the bow and made it a lot easier to shoot. So that's actually quite a cheap and easy way of really improving the bow. The vibration is quite noticeable on it. You'll hear quite a lot of people when they're talking about the compound bows, talking about how they're dead in the hand. This is not so dead in the hand, especially if you don't have the stabilizers on there. The Doinker stabilizers have anti-vibration parts here, these actual Doinkers. They take a lot of the vibration out and make the bow a lot easier to shoot. There's a lot less vibration, and you don't notice it so much through your body and so on. The quality is really good. None of the threads and the screws and everything stripped out. It was really easy to set up. I initially started shooting this at 50 pounds. So if you're new to compound bows, the cool thing about any of these setups is that you can actually change the poundage. That's the amount of power you have when you draw back, how much weight you have to pull back, by loosening these screws. This is a 60-pound bow, but when I started shooting it, I actually was running it at 50. You can just uncrank these screws. On the 2024 Lazer, you can do 10 turns off, and that reduced it for me when I measured it to about 45 pounds. For me, for the beginning, it was really comfortable at 50, but after about a month of shooting, I am shooting this on 60 pounds now. Draw length was actually really easy to set up on this. PSE have these and F cams, and you have a little bit of a modification thing here. You'd undo 2 screws, and then you can choose your draw length here. Remember to do it on both sides. It was actually really good for me. The draw length I thought I had was actually 1 inch longer than I feel comfortable shooting now. So it was actually really nice to be able to change the draw length without having to have a bow press for that. One of the more unique things to PSE are the interchangeable grips here. There's different levels of height on these grips. I went through all of them, and for me, I sort of ended up on the 4-degree one. That was the one that was most comfortable for me and my grip. So that's nice to have that adjustability. I'm probably going to put some tennis grip onto here just for a little bit more grippiness. The bow weighs 4.5 pounds. That's just about 2.25 kilos. Again, I was surprised by how much these things weigh, but it actually is quite balanced. I'm running the Specialty Archery Target Peep with the shade and a clarifier on the inside. I'll go into what a clarifier is in another video. And I'm running a 4x magnification on my Avalon visor. So what would be the first thing I would upgrade on this bow? That would probably be the visor. This one from Cartel, it is pretty wobbly. I had to super glue the thing on here because it kept moving around even with the screws tight. It just, I don't find it very good quality, and the adjustment's also a bit wonky. So I'm definitely going to be upgrading that in the near future to something better. Otherwise, for my level, I'm actually super stoked on this. It's really helped me sort of progress, and I feel fairly comfortable shooting at 20 yards or 18 meters now. So I'm actually having lots of fun in the club shooting this, and I'm getting pretty much consistent 9s and 10s. On a good day, I get a lot of X's or inside outs. So if you're getting into target archery and you want a good value for money bow, I can really recommend the PSE Lazer 2024. It does what it's supposed to right out of the box. Very few problems. I found it very, very forgiving. So it's well worth the money that you spend on it. Obviously, it's not going to be as good as some of the more expensive target bows, but I think this is definitely a bow that people can get into the sport with and not spend all too much money and still do very well at the range and maybe in competitions. So I hope this gave you a bit of an insight onto my beginner setup for target compound bow archery. Stay tuned for more videos on the rest of my gear and my journey into the world of target archery here on the Canary Islands. Rock on and see you on the range.